So I watched about 28 movies in October. So let's take a little bit of time here and I'll go through everything I watched, not only on physical media, but in theaters and on streaming. So this is my monthly movie roundup for October 2025. Like I said in the intro, 28 movies total between physical media, in theaters, and on various streaming services. So let's just jump right into it. The first movie I watched in October, um, to kind of get in the spooky season spirit, so to speak, was Casper. Um, I love this movie. It's a little bit more nostalgic for me. I was kind of like a I don't know what it came out 93 ish. Um, so I think I was in my early teens when this came out. Um, Always a fan of it. I gave this one 4 stars on Letterboxd. Bill Pullman, Christina Ricci, just a really good cast and fun little it's a kids movie for sure, but I've always loved it. So that is Casper with 4 stars. And then I went and saw The Smashing Machine in theaters. Loved it. Probably going to be in my top movies of the year for sure. I gave it 5 stars. I thought Dwayne Johnson was fantastic in the role of Mark Kerr. I did watch some, UFC back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So kind of around the time Mark Kerr was relevant in the sport. So I didn't see a ton of his matches, but I did kind of follow his story, so I knew a little bit about him. So I thought the movie was really interesting and a good look at his life. Emily Blunt is also really good in the movie. Again, that's a 5 star letterbox rating for me, for The Smashing Machine. All right, so then I spent some time and I dove into the 4K Nightmare on Elm Street set here. I watched all 7 of these, so we'll kind of just run through. I did a whole live ranking of these. I'll link that down below in case you guys missed that. But for the first Nightmare on Elm Street, this is a 5 star movie for me. I absolutely loved it. It's just a classic. Robert Englund is so good in this one. He really has a lot of fun throughout this entire franchise. So that is the first Nightmare on Elm Street with 5 stars. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This one I gave 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. I thought it was good. There is some controversy around the subtext of this movie that I'm not going to get too much into, but I did watch a documentary, so I'll speak about that in a little bit here. But I still enjoyed this movie. I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. And then Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I really like this one. It ended up being one of my favorites. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I just really enjoyed this one. Heather Langenkamp comes back. Patricia Arquette. Lawrence Fishburne has a very small role in it, but again, that is Dream Warriors with and 3. Then Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master wasn't too bad. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Yeah, I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. I still ranked it a little bit below. Let me see. I think I ranked this above part 2, even though I have it kind of rated the same. But I did enjoy the Dream Master for what it was. Again, Robert Englund has a lot of fun in these, and it really shows in some of these later installments. And then Dream Child, this one here, not as big of a fan. Obviously has the best kill, has my favorite kill in the entire franchise, but this is a 2 star movie for me. Just not really one of my favorites in this franchise, but Dream Child with 2 stars there. And then Freddy's Dead, which has the worst cover art on the entire Steelbook set here. I give this one 2 stars as well, but I rank it lower than Dream Child. I just really did not like this movie. Um, but yeah, oh, God, that's terrible, terrible artwork. But 2 stars for Freddy's Revenge, and then to wrap up the Steelbook set here with New Nightmare. This is one that I really enjoyed. I give this one 4.5 stars. Um, I just love the whole meta aspect of it. A little bit ahead of its time. We touched on this a little bit in our live stream when we spoke about this movie, but overall, I really enjoyed uh, New Nightmare in this franchise. And then for the last 2 movies in this set, or in the franchise, I should say, Freddy vs. Jason. I don't own that one on physical media, so I did watch that on Tubi. I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Again, the same rating as I gave Dream Master and Part 2, but I rank it above those two. And then, of course, we have the Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010. I gave that one star. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't really know. It didn't need to be made. So I gave that one the lowest ranking in the entire franchise there. Then I dove into a smaller franchise with Tron. So I watched this one on 4K. I enjoyed this movie. I give it 4 stars. This was the first time watch. I know it's a classic movie with Jeff Bridges, but I never got around to watching this one. So with Aries coming out in October, I knew I wanted to see that one. I wanted to catch up and watch these. So I gave Tron 4 stars on Letterboxd. I thought this was really good. For early 80s, I think it was, I don't want to call it game changer, but it kind of like what it did in early 1980, I think was really cool. Maybe the graphics don't hold up as well, obviously now, so many years later, 45 years later, or whatever it is, but I still enjoyed the movie, and I thought it was really well done. And then I watched Tron Legacy. I actually really like this one as well. I gave this one 3.5 stars, so just a little bit below the original. Obviously, visually stunning movie, looks fantastic on 4K. Garrett Hedlund was pretty good in this. You got Jeff Bridges comes back, and Olivia Wilde, which I feel like she kind of stole the movie here. I really liked the character she played in Tron Legacy. So again, that one is 3.5 stars. And then I went and saw Tron Ares in theaters. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. It's right up there with the original. I thought Jared Leto was fine. I know a lot of people don't like him. He gets a lot of shit, but I thought he was really good in this. The overall story was really well done. Again, visually awesome. A lot of great action. Overall cast, Evan Peters was good. Who is the lead actress? Give me 1 second here. Greta Lee. I thought she was really fantastic. I need to see more movies with her. I believe she was in Past Lives, which was last year or the year before, and she was really good in that one as well. So I definitely need to check out more of her stuff. And then I watched the documentary I mentioned a minute or two ago was Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is the story of Mark Patton, who was the lead actor in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and it's just kind of the story about how he was almost pushed out of Hollywood, and it's really well done. It follows him kind of where he was living now in Mexico, and it follows him along as he attends some horror conventions and does some cast reunions from Part 2. So overall, I really enjoyed this documentary. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. This was released by ETR Media through Vinegar Syndrome. And yeah, I really enjoyed this documentary. And then one movie I try to watch every Halloween season The Lost Boys. This is 5 stars for me. It's my favorite vampire movie of all time. It's just a classic 80s. Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patrick, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Jamie Gertz. Just overall awesome, awesome movie with The Lost Boys. And again, that's 5 stars on Letterboxd. And then I went back to the movie theaters after that and saw a double feature. I checked out Good Boy. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I thought it was really well done. Kind of a horror movie seen through the eyes of a dog. You don't get to see a ton of other of the actual actors in the movie. It's more kind of just from his perspective. And I thought it was well done. I give it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. And then right after that, I saw One Battle After Another, new Leo DiCaprio movie, Paul Thomas Anderson. I really enjoyed this movie. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. This is another one that'll probably be in my top 10, top 15 movies of 2025. I thought it was really well done. DiCaprio was great. The whole cast was really fantastic. The young actress, what is her name? Chase Infinity. Really, really good. Benicio del Toro is fantastic. It's a really small role for Del Toro, but he was really, really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed One Battle After Another. If you guys haven't seen that one, I highly recommend checking that one out. Then on streaming, my wife and I checked out The Perfect Neighbor. This is a really interesting documentary. I think this one's on Netflix. It's almost a hard watch. Like, I feel like, the police officers had a lot of patience with what was going on, but I don't want to say they didn't do enough, but I mean, they were out there enough times to kind of see what was going on, and it's just a really kind of heart-wrenching and really sad story. So The Perfect Neighbor, I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Again, it's a really sad story, and I recommend you guys checking that out if you haven't. All right, and then I went back into kind of the spooky theme, and I watched Hocus Pocus on 4K. I hadn't seen this one in a long time. I meant to do a rewatch back when part 2 came out, and I don't know, I kind of slacked out on a little bit. So I rewatched this one. It's a classic. I give it 4 stars on Letterboxd. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, I think is her name, are all really good in this. And then, of course, you got Omri Katz and Thora Birch and Vanessa Shaw as the kids in the movie are all really, really good. So this is just a classic. I feel like this is one that I could probably revisit more often, especially around Halloween. And then I decided to watch part 2, which I had never seen before. A little bit of a letdown. I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. I thought they could have brought back the kids from the original cast with Thora Birch, Omri Katz, and Vanessa Shaw, and for some reason they didn't. Of course, you have Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker all came back, but I feel like even they just weren't as good as they were in the original. So Hocus Pocus 2, I gave that 2 stars on Letterboxd. Then I went down a whole The Hills Have Eyes watch, and I checked out the first one, which I had never seen before, the original Wes Craven movie. I picked this one up at the Princeton Record Exchange here in New Jersey. I gave this one 3 stars. I thought it was all right. I had seen the remake many years ago, and I really enjoyed that one. This one, I feel like it wasn't as good as the remake, and I'll get to that one in a few minutes here. But I gave this 3 stars. It was all right. The character of, it was Deborah, I just found really annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I thought for being a Wes Craven is obviously a phenomenal director. He's an icon in horror, but this one not necessarily my favorite of the Wes Craven movies. So 3 stars for that one. And then I checked out the sequel, The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. So that one's from 1984. I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. I watched that on, I think, on Tubi as well. And definitely not as good as the first one. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think did Wes Craven. I think Wes Craven directed this one as well. Um, but I kind of found it more mildly entertaining and more corny than the original one. This one just a lot of off-screen kills and there's kind of a reveal that's given away, and I think it was a little too early in the movie to give that away. I think they could have waited a little bit longer, and maybe it would have been a little bit more impactful if that came um, closer to either the midway point or even last third of the movie. I think that would have probably made me like this one a little bit better. So that is The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, 2 stars. And then I watched Mind Ripper, which I guess was originally written as the third movie in the Hills Have Eyes franchise. And I gave it 1 star. It's not a very good movie. You get Lance Henriksen in it, who's obviously a um, classic actor. And I don't know, I just think the acting is terrible. You get Giovanni Ribisi in this as his first major, I guess, film role. Definitely, he's come a long way since this one. Not very good in this one at all. I mainly gave it 1 star just for Lance Henriksen, just because I respect him a lot as an actor, and I think he's fantastic. But Mind Ripper is not a good movie. I'm kind of glad that they changed the name of it because it doesn't really fit with. I guess they rewrote it, right? Originally written as another sequel, but I think they kind of tweaked it a little bit and then changed the name to Mind Ripper. So overall, 1 star for that one. Then I watched the remake again. So I went back and I watched The Hills Have Eyes from 2006. So much better than the first movie, at least in my opinion. I gave it 4 stars. Um, this time around, the Deborah character wasn't as annoying. It was more the Bobby character that I found more annoying in this one. For some reason, the kid, I think it's Dan Bird. Yeah, Dan Bird, who played Bobby. I don't know. Did a fine job, but the character overall, I just wasn't a fan of. Brenda, I said Deborah, but it is Brenda that is the character from the first movie that I found annoying. It was not as annoying in the remake. But you get some good cast here. You got Aaron Stanford, Vanessa Shaw, who I mentioned earlier from Hocus Pocus, Ted Levine, Kathleen Quinlan, and yeah, I think overall, who is it? Emile de Raven was Brenda in this one. So overall, much better than the first or the original Hills Have Eyes. Is the remake from 2006, and then I went ahead and watched The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 from 2007. This one, I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. It's not that good. It's a little bit better than the original Hills Have Eyes Part 2, which I also gave 2 stars. So, I rated them similarly, but I think this remake sequel is a little better than the original sequel. And again, could have just been the times. Again, it was 1984 versus 2007. Acting wise in this part 2, nothing to write home about, nothing fantastic. No major stars in this one. Nobody from The Hills Have Eyes 2006 came back for this. I think I read somewhere that maybe Brenda was going to be written in, but the actress Emile de Raven, she was working on Lost at the time, so they ended up, I guess, scrapping that from the movie. So the sequel, not as good as the first one, with 2 stars. And then to wrap up October, I did a double feature here at home for two horror movies. So one is directed by John Carpenter, an icon of horror, and that's In the Mouth of Madness. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. This was a first time watch. I thought it was a good way to wrap up the Halloween season and end on a really kind of fun little horror note here in The Mouth of Madness. And then the very last movie that I watched, same night on Halloween night, um, could have gone with Halloween 1978, but I went with Trick or Treat instead because I thought this was the perfect Halloween night movie to watch. And I love this movie. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I think it's a fun little anthology. It's got a good cast. Anna Paquin's in it. Brian Cox has a role in it in one of the sequences. But overall, just a really, really fun Halloween movie here in Trick or Treat. So that is it. That is all 28 movies that I watched in the month of October. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you watch this spooky season? I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this out with your movie-loving friends. I'm on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll drop a link in the description below to all those social media platforms. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.